The Twitter files and the removal of Donald Trump.
We'll be right back with this story from Go Right News. You can follow us on GoRightNews.com for more information.
Hi, fellow patriots. This is Peter Boykin from hashtag GoRight. Share this right now. Time to go right. The latest installments of the Twitter files are very detailed with lots of source documents. This article will summarize the findings, but you can check out the documents yourself through the article at GoRightNews.com through the hyperlinks put in that article. Elon Musk authorized the release of more internal Twitter documents and communications. This latest batch reveals how the company worked directly with government agencies and conspired to ban Donald Trump from the platform while he was still a sitting president. The details. Independent journalists Matt Taibbi and Michael Sillingsberger released the damning information through subsequent Twitter threads. Taibbi's threads covered Twitter's executives' actions between October 2020 and January 6. Schillenberg's thread covered what happened on January 7th. Now let's back up. The first installment of the Twitter files discusses how senior Twitter executives took censorship requests from the Biden campaign and violated their own policies to suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story. The second installment confirmed that Twitter used shadow bans to censor conservatives. Taibbi's thread discusses, quote, the erosion of standards within the company in months before January 6, decisions by high-ranking executives to violate their own policies, and more against the backdrop of ongoing documented interaction with federal agencies. Taibbi outlines how Twitter's former head of safety, Yul Roth, had frequent meetings with the FBI. That Twitter thread is in our article at GoRightNews.com. The Department of Homeland Security and the Director of National Intelligence. The federal officials were directly involved in flagging tweets for censoring. That thread is also on GoRightNews.com. As late as a week before the election, Trump was being visibly filtered by Twitter, where his posts could not be, quote, replied to, shared, or liked. Internal communications show that executives censoring Republicans like Representative Jody Hice for warning about the dangers of mail-in ballots. Meanwhile, Twitter executives were okay with Democrats claiming Trump, quote, may try to steal the election. The thread is also on GoRightNews.com. In the weeks after the 2020 election, as Trump was challenging the results, Twitter applied several impression tools to his account, trying to limit his reach. At this point in the timeline, we arrive at January 6th. We all know how that went and how it was portrayed in the media. This brings us to Schillingsberger's thread. Begins, quote, as the pressure builds, Twitter executives build the case for a permanent ban and implemented new rules to justify the ban. The thread begins by sharing that pressure from high-profile Democrats like Michelle Obama. Again, this link is on GoRightNews.com through that article. On January 7th, after pressure from Yul Roth and other left-wing activists within the company, CEO Jack Dorsey approved a new policy that would, quote, create a system where 5 violations, quote, strikes, would result in permanent suspension. Again, this link is on the article at GoRightNews.com. Trump, according to Roth, had 4 strikes at this point. The following day, January 8th, Trump is banned due to the, quote, risk of further incitement of violence. Schillenberger points out this flew in the face of Twitter policy. Quote, Twitter says its ban is based on specifically how Trump's tweets are being received and interpreted. But in 2019, Twitter said it did not attempt to determine all potential interpretations of the content or its intent. The only internal pushback Schillinger found came in a, quote, lower-level Slack channel where one employee said, quote, this might be an unpopular opinion, but one-off ad hoc decisions like this that don't appear rooted in policy are, in my opinion, a slippery slope. This now appears to be a fiat by the online platform CEO with a global presence that can gatekeep speech for the entire world. Take note that individual came from China and had saw what happened in China and saw the red flags. Now, what happens next? Representative Jim Jordan announced that once Republicans take control of the House in January 2023, he plans to hold congressional hearings and investigations to, quote, expose everything. The source are the Twitter Files 3 and the Twitter Files 4. Those links are directly put in on GoRightNews.com in the article. Again, you can tune in to GoRightNews.com and this article and many more. Thank you for tuning in to #GoRight with Peter Boykin. Peace.